Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Cigar Pulpit, Cigar Pulpit, Cigar Pulpit, Cigar Pulpit, Cigar Pulpit. It's the Cigar Pulpit podcast starring Nick, the Bishop of the Burn. And here is another sermon from the pulpit. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today, I'm back. Thank you all for giving me a moment. The last few weeks have been very busy, and I needed a moment. So I appreciate you guys being patient, and hopefully you guys that were behind caught up and took advantage of the extra day, and got caught up on the show. Now you're with me, and you'll stick with me, and everybody will be fine. Don't leave me. Please don't leave me. Have abandonment issues? No, anyway. So today, it's another one of those weird solo shows where I ask ChatGPT for a show idea, and this one was an interesting one. This one could be fun, and I'm hoping this one prompts some phone calls into the Ask the Pulpit hotline from you guys, because I do think there's a lot of potential out there for spin-off of this idea. So, before we even get into what we're going to do, we're going to fire up our cigar. We're going to talk about our cigar. So today, I dug around in the humidor, and I found something with some age on it. And this company has since undergone a name change since I received this cigar, because I have the original band with the original name. But I am going to be smoking the Fuerte Y Libre Avalanche. It is a 6x50 Toro. See, it's that white and silver. 6x50 Toro with an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper and Dominican binder and filler. It's supposed to be their mild blend. But it kind of, according to Greg Free and the little notes, came down between mild and medium. It's got a Connecticut wrapper, blend with Dominican fillers, known for creamy, nutty, and sometimes vanilla notes. But if you notice, the band, I have the old name. I have Fuerte Y Libre. We gotta be bold with this. Fuerte Y Libre. Anyway, I have the original band. So this guy has got some age on it. I believe this cigar would have come out in 2022 based upon a press release that I saw on Half Wheel when I was Googling to find out the blend and everything. So I'm assuming this thing's got a couple years of age on it. And it's been rattling around in my humidor, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I haven't had a cigar today. This will be my first cigar of the day. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, the stomach has been a little, it's queasy. Been a little queasy today. So, I'm wanting to take it mild. I'm wanting to be mild with it. So, anyway, time to cut the cigar. The official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, we're going to go ahead and cut the cigar. All right, so we're going to give this guy a cut. I am, hopefully, I have been running these heaters out here for a little while, so it's not completely freezing in the garage. It's a little brisk, but the heaters have been working well. So that's good. But I have been worried about some wrapper issues. As I talked about a couple episodes back, I've had some wrapper pops and things of that nature, and then it's all weather related. I know it is, but still, it sucks. So Anyway, well, while I light this thing, why don't we listen to the greatest commercial you've ever heard?
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Now, guys, for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with Fuerte Y Libre Cigars, it is a small boutique. Greg Free is a super nice dude, and I've had him on the show before. I mean, it's been a while ago. But he keeps at it, and, he's a good dude, and he puts out some really good cigars. The Sun Country is, the other Connecticut that he does, but my God, it's a Connecticut that knows somebody. That is one of the best Connecticut cigars that I've encountered. It's so good. So, if by chance, throughout this, you're like sitting there going like, I've never heard of them, blah, 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 whatever. Just look them up. See if you can find a store that carries them that's near you, or maybe does mail order or something like that, and give them a try. They're good cigars, and Greg's a good dude. Anyway, alrighty. So today we're gonna get in a weird topic. We're gonna be asking the hard question today. We're gonna be talking about if cigars were on a dating app, who would we swipe right on? That's right. We're going to be talking about giving cigars their own dating app profile. Now, I've spent my fair share of time on the dating apps, and let me tell you, I'm glad I'm not screwing around with that anymore. It's a area of my life. I don't know. It's no fun. It's no fun. I mean, it's fun. There were parts that were fun, but then there were parts that resulted in like Scientologists and, various other more interesting people coming your way. And it's complicated. And, it's hard to put yourself out there, to sum your entirety up into, 7 photos, a headline, and maybe a brief bio and a couple of selected interests, and that kind of thing. So, you got to get good with your profile, but then also you got to be good at reading between the lines on other people's profiles. You got to figure out like, okay, what are they actually saying, or what aren't they saying in a lot of cases? And so, we need to talk about that. So, in terms of cigars, we've got the profile basics. Everyone, look, they're all going to have pictures. Some are going to be better than others. And if anybody says they don't judge based off the photos, they're lying completely, because they totally judge based off the photos. If somebody does not have a great photo, or a selection of good photos on their profile, they're going to be overlooked. Group photos, for example, if you're looking at somebody's profile, now I'm giving tips to the listeners that are on these apps, and I'm going to give you these tips, but whatever. But like if you're looking at a group photo, you got to identify who you are, I don't know who you are, and you can put a few individual photos on there too, but I'm not going to take the time to flip back and forth between a group photo and an individual photo to determine like, oh, this random blonde is the one that I'm supposed to be looking at. So it's just one of those things. Just avoid the group photos, but a good photo, so perfectly staged band on the cigar. This says no ash. I actually think, maybe like show the burn line a little bit, show like the construction and everything. I don't think that's a bad thing. Maybe see if you can get some smoke all up in there and make it, like, ooh, it's smoky, that kind of thing. But I think that's photography. It counts for a lot. You're shopping with your eyes at this point. All right. So from there, you got to have that little headline. You got to have that little kicker thing, and so they're suggesting bold yet balanced, but whatever. It doesn't particularly matter. Height is a really big thing on the dating apps for whatever reason. Women are looking for the taller guys. And specifically, they want the guys to be taller than them, but they want taller guys. And so, what would be the equivalent with a cigar? Well, maybe ring gauge, length, that sort of thing. I mean, there's all kinds of jokes I could go to there. I mean, let's be real. Maybe they might be looking for length and ring gauge on the regular dating apps, if you know what I mean. But it's real hard to specify that when you're putting together your profile. But anyway, from there, there's the part where you talk about what you're looking for, and the cigar would be kind of explaining who they are and what they're all about, and seeing if they vibe with your general palate. So, you gotta put together the profile. From there, look, there's some standard archetypes. You have the gym selfie bro, the guy that's like, oh, I'm at the gym and I'm buff and I'm, flexing in the mirror. Look at me, at the weight bench, curling and that kind of shit. So, that's where you would get your massive ring gauge cigars, coming in, being all proud of being full bodied and, we're big and bad and blah, blah, blah. No fillers, real tobacco, that kind of thing. And, I could see that being, but yeah, I could see a few brands that would fit that category, It's what it is. From there, you've got the Connecticut that's underrated, the subtle, sweet little one that's sitting there going like, I'm very, very approachable and very calm, and I'm the one that you want to take home to mother, and but this is the one that unfortunately, for whatever reason, keeps getting friend zoned, and they have to try and like convince people that they're more interesting than what they appear, and that sort of thing, And again, here I am smoking a Connecticut, and there's only a select few Connecticut's that I tend to really enjoy. Although this one is smoking really, really well, so I get it. I get that the Connecticut might be kind of underrated. You got the boutique cigars, so they're going to be more like the art kid. They're going to be like the with the nose ring and the septum ring and maybe the streak of blue hair, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a little rebellious, I'm a little this, I'm a little that, and they maybe have a really kind of bizarre band on the cigar, and maybe it's got like a interesting font, like a specific kind of font and that sort of thing. And, of course the biography has to mention that it's small batch, like 3 different times, cause that's important. It was cool before it was cool, kind of thing, but anyway, so there's that. Now, the other thing you got to keep in mind with the dating sites is, you got to look for red flags. Sometimes you don't encounter said red flags until you actually go out on a date with them, or in this case, smoke them. But sometimes there are red flags that you encounter right off the bat in the profiles to where you're like, all right, I don't even need to swipe on this one. Like, I know this is not going to work out well. Now, had one told me that they were a ordained minister in the Church of Scientology, yeah, I probably wouldn't have swiped on that one, but it's okay. It's no big deal. It was a story. It definitely was a story. So, in this case, when we're talking cigars, for me, You know, they gave some examples, but I'm gonna say, for me, one of them that I'm gonna say, and this doesn't hold true for everyone, because obviously there are a few that I have truly enjoyed, but I will say, limited edition. When you hype the hell out of limited edition, it's a bit of a red flag for me. Because it's kind of like, okay, is this something that you actually put effort into, or is this just like a money grab? Like, we're going to slap a limited edition sticker on it, and we're going to let our fanboys, buy a whole bunch of them and, buy out the run. And then that way, it's a quick cash grab. And so I'm not the biggest limited edition guy. I'd also say, one of the things that ChatGPT suggested was a bio that basically quotes 5 review scores. We all know how I feel about cigar reviews at this point. So, that's actually a fair point. If you're just telling me like, well, this magazine and this magazine and this website and this guy all said that I'm a 90, blah, 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 then it's like, does that really matter to me? Or, whatever. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Pristine and perfect photos. I'm not saying that every photo has to be perfect, but maybe some casual. Here's a photo of a guy just smoking a whatever out on the patio and having a good time with it, and it's a casual kind of photo. I think a mix of photos is good. And then finally, and I've seen this on many, 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 many actual dating profiles, no information. When you put up your name, your age, and some photos, and that's it, you don't even bother filling out the biography, I'm going to assume you're probably a spam bot that's trying to get me to send you money. It's also possible that you're a spam bot trying to just, get my information and then spam, people with my information. I don't know. But the bottom line is it's a giant red flag to me. So, I tend to not like to do that. So I would say that if I can't find out information about a cigar, that's also going to be a bit of a red flag for me. Now, just like with women, or men, I'll be fair here. There are some women that listen to this, and obviously some women have had their fair share of dating issues as well. Because let's be real, guys, you might be great, but there's a lot of guys out there that are really dragging us down, and it's really, really bad. But that's neither here nor there. But ghosting is a legitimate issue, that people deal with in the dating world. And for those of you maybe who don't know what that is, it's very simple. It's basically like, oh, you're chatting with somebody, you're talking with somebody, maybe you even saw somebody, and then all of a sudden they just vanish off the face of the earth. No reply, they're just gone. They will not communicate with you at all, and they don't give you a reason why. They're obviously not interested. They're just not giving you a reason. They just ghost. Now this is talking about cigars that ghost you, and maybe we've encountered these before too, where it's got like an awesome first third of the cigar, but then by the halfway point it just falls apart and leaves you disappointed. Another one that I have dealt with is a cigar that constantly makes you relight it. Like, it just will not hold the fire or the flame, and it just constantly keeps going out. I would call that, a cigar that's ghosting me. But then, you know what? Eventually you find those cigars that you just want to keep coming back to, and that's what makes it all worth it. So anyway, now here's the fun part. This is when we're going to get into some fun. This is when we're going to talk about specific cigars and their dating profiles. Yes, ChatGPT created dating profiles for specific cigars. And we're going to start with the Padron 1964 anniversary. Now, according to this, underage, it's classy, and you shouldn't ask. height is poised, and location is Nicaragua. The biography for the Padron 1964 says that it is confident, established, and doesn't need to prove anything. I know exactly who I am, and I take my time. Rushing me is a deal breaker. I value consistency, quality, and quiet moments that actually mean something. If you're chasing trends or need a constant excitement, I'm probably not your girl. An ideal date with the Padron 1964 anniversary would be a relaxed evening, good drink, and real conversation. And a red flag would be if you're impatient. Now I get what it was going for there. It was going for it wants a slow smoker, that kind of thing. But anyway, whatever. I mean, that gives you an idea. That gives you an idea of what we're going for. This next one, it's a little more fun, and it's got a little subtle punch to it. It's the Liga Privada number 9. Age, complicated. Height, curvy and commanding. Location, wherever the rumors are. The biography, dark, intense, a little dramatic, but I own it. I've been hyped before, and I know it. I'm not for beginners, and that's intentional. If you like bold flavors, late nights, and a little edge, we might have fun. Just don't expect me to be subtle. An ideal date is after midnight, strong drinks, and no small talk. And this is where it gets a little punchy. The red flag, sometimes you're chasing nostalgia, and not me. I thought that was a very subtle slap at Drew Estate from ChatGPT about maybe what ChatGPT thinks of the Liga Privada number 9 now versus when it came out. I don't know. Just a thought. Some of these I'm going to skip. Like the next one, we got the Arturo Fuente Hemingway. Appreciates tradition, good manners, slow enjoyment, doesn't chase attention, attracts the right people naturally, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Rocky Patel, 1990, mature yet approachable, location, always available, as in they're freaking everywhere. Biography, I'm dependable, friendly, and easy to enjoy. Not flashy, not demanding, just consistently pleasant company. I may not overwhelm you, but you'll always feel comfortable with me. Looking for someone who appreciates stability and calm. After dinner and a relaxed conversation is the ideal date. And red flag won't create chaos. Some people miss that. So I guess it's saying that it's a pretty down the middle, it is what it is kind of cigar. Let's find some more. Oh, this was a fun one. The Cohiba, non-Cuban. Age, well known. Location, wherever attention is. Biography, yes, you recognize the name. I make a great first impression and photograph beautifully. Am I all substance? That depends on your expectations. I enjoy being noticed and won't pretend otherwise. Ideal date, somewhere public, somewhere visible. Red flag, the name sometimes carries the relationship. So, again, ChatGPT, taking a few shots here. Yeah. Here, let's find another good one. Oh, The Acid by Drew Estate. Age, still getting judged. Location, wherever the vibe is. I would also say rave tent, but that's just my experience with the acid. Biography, I know exactly what people say about me, and I'm fine with it. I'm sweet, aromatic, and unapologetically different. I've been a first love for a lot of people and don't pretend to be subtle to fit in. If you're open-minded and not worried about what the purists think, we might actually have fun. Ideal date, late night, colorful drinks, music playing. Red flag, I will start a debate the moment I arrive. Green flag, I got a lot of people into this lifestyle. So, it's acknowledging the acid is the gateway cigar there. So you guys are getting the point. So what I'm curious about is I'm curious to hear your dating profiles for your favorite cigar. Like maybe you have a cigar that you really enjoy, and just kind of based off this, what would your dating profile for that cigar be? How would you describe that cigar to make me want to swipe right on it instead of like passing? Because some of these aren't the best. This one, this one was interesting. La Flor Dominicana Ligero Chisel. Age, aggressive. Height, unique. Location, crafts its own lane. Biography. I'm intense, unconventional, and not concerned with comfort zones. If you're looking for safe and predictable, you should swipe left immediately. I demand attention and stamina. First date idea. You already regret this. Red flag, everything. So, I don't know if ChatGPT likes the La Flor Dominicana or not, but it kind of made it sound like it was going to kick my ass. So, I don't know. Anyway, give me a call. Call the hotline, area code 863-874-0000. Give me some dating profile ideas for cigars. Let me know your thoughts on what your favorite cigars might say about themselves on Tinder or any one of the other dating profiles out there. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun little exercise, and it kind of makes you think about the cigar a little differently. It's not just, blend and flavor notes. It's what is this cigar supposed to be conveying to you? What does it say about, what do you feel it says? Where do you feel it fits in? I mean, to be honest, the acid one, I think the acid one is pretty spot on. The only thing it, like I said, is missing is a rave tint and glow sticks, but whatever. I think I smoked my Avalanche into going out. I think it went out. I don't think I smoked enough, so I'm going to light that back up. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. It's not the best, I know, but I swear there's better coming. I just, did what I did. So, all right. So yeah. So fine. For those of you who are interested, shoot me the call. Let me know your thoughts on your favorite cigars. And we'll go from there in a future Ask the Pulpit episode. Send me, let me know the profile that you think will convince me to swipe right on that cigar. And don't make it a cigar that I love, because that's not fair. That's not fair. So anyway, let's do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report. Brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. Alrighty, so it's been a... God, guys, I can't even tell you how busy it's been. So yeah, I had my son, and then as soon as I dropped my son off, I had company come in for Thanksgiving. They were here. They got here the 24th, November 24th, and left December 2nd. Then later that day, I had to get the newspaper done. Then December 3rd, I did my deliveries. And then that evening, I drove off and went to see I went to a live taping of an episode of wrestling. I went to AEW Dynamite on Wednesday the 3rd. And that was a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun at that show. I got good seats. I will say that if you've got HBO Max, and you want to see me there, I'm pretty prevalent on that episode in the crowd. I'm not hard to miss. But yeah, that's on HBO Max. It's the December 3rd episode of Dynamite. And I had a lot of fun at that. That was a good time. And sometimes live events like that, it's good to get out and do something, not just sit on the couch. But I will say my big TV is in my sunroom, and this time of year when it starts getting colder out, I just don't sit in that sunroom nearly as much, because quite frankly, that sunroom is it's harder to heat. I mean, I got to keep the house at a fairly decent temperature in order for that sunroom to be tolerable. And so what ends up happening is I tend to just shut the doors and forget about that room for, 3 or 4 months. And so I'm kind of in that zone now. And so the only real TV I'm watching would be out here in the garage or in my bedroom. And out here in the garage, I'm burning through propane to watch, and even then it's not exactly warm. And then back in my bedroom, I'm probably gonna fall asleep. But anyway, so I did do the wrestling show, and that was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed that, and I got a lot of cigars smoked during that driving period. And then the other thing that I did watch that I'm curious for all of you, what holiday movie is like your tradition, the one that you just absolutely 100% you have to watch it or it's just not Christmas time? For me, it's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and so I watched that, and it's ridiculous, it's stupid, I love it so much, and I had to catch that so that it was Christmas. I still can't believe that Christmas is like basically just over 2 weeks away. I mean, this is insane. This is just flying by like way too rapidly. I have my tree up. I do have my tree up. I have no ornaments on it. I have a bow at the top. I have the lights because it's a pre-lit artificial tree, and I have the tree skirt. Thanks to Erica, but like I do not have anything else on the tree. I have the tubs of ornaments sitting there that I need to get out and put on the tree, but I haven't even done that yet. So maybe I'll have my tree done and put together by Christmas, hopefully. But yeah, the time is just flying by at this point. But I did catch Christmas Vacation. So, like I said, what are some of the Christmas movies that you guys watch that just you have to see in order for it to be the holidays? And also, what do you think of this whole 24-hour marathon bullshit? It was novel when they did it with Christmas Story when it first started. Then they expanded it from just one channel. I think it was on TNT. To I feel like TNT and TBS both do it now. But then, then they're doing it with like other movies. They're doing like all throughout the month. And quite frankly, they've done the Christmas Story thing every single year forever. And I'm just kind of, I used to really love A Christmas Story. But I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of over it now. It's just, I've seen it too much. It's lost its pizzazz, and that's kind of sad. They drilled it into the ground to the point that it's not fun anymore. If you see these things too much, it's just too much. So I don't know. What are your, do you guys have thoughts on that? Like, is the 24 hours of Christmas Story really something that we need, or is it just something that we have to put up with at this point? I personally think it's just one of those things where it's just easy for everybody at those TV stations. They hit a button and they have it on repeat and they just go, and that's what it is. And I don't know. It makes programming so much easier for them, I'm sure, but still, it's kind of phoning it in. But anyway, what do I know? Okay, so we're going to do something a little different with this. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars, can't clip our wings. All right, so you guys have kind of expressed some need for change for this segment. And so I'm trying something different here. We're gonna do a little bit of knowledge. We're gonna branch this out, and instead of giving you the story of an individual that did something great, be that something local or something huge, we're gonna talk a little bit about, kind of get into some cigar 101. Not necessarily like, how to cut and light, although I might do that at some point. But, there's terminology, there's phrases, there's all kinds of different things. But we're going to start with an idiom. And have you ever heard the phrase close but no cigar and wondered where it came from? Well, the phrase originates from the early 20th century American fairgrounds and carnivals. Because in the late 1800s and early 1900s, cigars were commonly used as prizes at carnival games, ring tosses, shooting galleries, strength tests, that sort of thing. Cigars were affordable, but not everyday cheap. So they had a little bit of, they were a good prize. They were masculine and desirable, and they were, and it made them a perfect reward for, accomplishing whatever the game was. You gave a man a cigar when something went right, a deal was closed, a contest won, a baby born, and that made cigars shorthand for achievement. And so if a player came very close to winning, say a ring landed near a bottle but not quite catch the bottle, it was common for the carnival barker to acknowledge the effort while denying the prize. And the sentiment became, you were close, but you didn't get the cigar. And over time, that idea condensed down into the saying that we know today of close but no cigar. So, with that being said, hit the mark with Blackbird Cigars and don't let anybody clip your wings. Because if you hit the mark, you get the cigar. See what I mean there? Anyway, so we'll mix in some other things into this. Well, it'll be one of those things where maybe you learn something. Maybe you learn a little something. Maybe I do, come across a interesting, life story that I have to highlight. But, we're going to do that. I think that's a good idea. And if you don't, I'm sure I'm going to hear about it. So anyway, well, now that we've done that, let's do, where is it? This.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars I smoked and enjoyed this week. And like I said, I did get some cigars smoking in during the drive to the wrestling show. Realistically, I have been smoking so little lately. And I know it comes down to the weather. I have gone in some cases every other day without smoking a cigar. Just because, quite frankly, I'm not feeling it. It's cold and I'm not feeling it. Or I'm tired. And like I said, my stomach's been a little today. And so I haven't had one today until now. And that kind of thing. So it's just, there's been a lot of stuff going on, but I did get some smoked the other day while driving to the wrestling show. So the first thing, that I want to highlight, was the Diamond Crown Classic Natural Double Robusto. And the fine folks at JC Newman, they put out some wonderful cigars, but that Diamond Crown, it's just such a nice cigar. It's creamy, it's rich. You think it's going to be a very light Connecticut, but it's got a little bit of power to it, and it just smokes so wonderfully. The band on it is flipping huge, and so, it's one of those things that when it gets close to the band and you got to take the band off, suddenly you realize, holy shit, this band was way bigger because now I have a ton of cigar to smoke that doesn't have a band on it, and in this case, there was a slight pop. I was able to smoke past it. It was no big deal, but, it was one of those things that, these big bands, these companies do, sometimes I understand they want to make a presence in the humidor and be seen, but it's not necessarily the best smoking experience because keeping that band on to the last possible minute helps preserve the integrity of the cigar. And, if you got to take it off when you hit the halfway point of the cigar because the band is like that big off the freaking foot or the head of the cigar, it's not the best sometimes. So yeah, so that would be my only criticism of the Diamond Crown, but then also there's plenty of others that are way more guilty of that. You know, I love them, but you know, Perdomo's bands are pretty big too, and they take up a lot of real estate. When you take one off, it's like, oh shit, I got a lot of cigar to go. And I've had plenty that have popped after the band comes off, and it's like, well, that's unfortunate. But anyway, I digress. The second cigar I want to highlight is one that I found at a cigar shop, and I love the cigar. I don't buy it frequently because I don't really see it around too terribly often, but when I do, I always try to grab it. And it's the Herrera Esteli Habano. It's the white label Herrera Esteli. And man, it was the first one I smoked on the way back from the show, and it smoked wonderfully. It smoked so great. The other cigar I bought at that shop did not smoke so great. In fact, I didn't even get a chance to light that cigar because that thing, I cut it, and you know, I don't cut my cigars too deep. I know how to cut a cigar, and I cut that cigar, and my God, it just splintered, and just shattered. And it's like, well, that thing was not humidified properly, and a waste of $13. So that kind of sucks. But the Herrera Esteli Habano was humidified well, and I had a wonderful smoking experience with that one. And then the final one that I want to highlight is one of my staples, one of the ones I enjoy thoroughly, and I believe it's in the contenders pack for Cigar of the Year from the Cigar Authority, and that would be the Gold Star Toro. The Gold Star, man, from United. It's such a great cigar. It smokes wonderfully. It starts off, in my opinion, it starts off, you know, a little on the mild plus, medium minus kind of side, but it definitely ramps up. By the end of that cigar, you've got a nice, powerful cigar, and a lot of spice, a lot of flavor, and I love it. It's a wonderful cigar. It's definitely on my personal list of top cigars of 2025, which I'll get to at the end of the year. But, you know, it's a wonderful, wonderful cigar. One that, I would definitely recommend trying if you haven't tried it yet. So, all right. Well, speaking of cigars of the year, we are rapidly approaching, the time that, you guys, the parishioners, will be submitting your nominees for the Parishioners Cigar of the Year. I've already received one email, actually, with a nomination. And so the list has kind of sort of unofficially begun. So the nomination process is a little loosey-goosey. Basically, you just got to tell me what you think should be on the list or on the ballot. You can send it to me via email at nick@cigarpulpit.com. That's NICK at cigarpulpit.com. You can post it in the Parishioners group. I'm going to make an official post in the Parishioners group. I'm going to pin it on the Parishioners group in Facebook. And all you got to do is just go in the comments and just comment what cigars you think should be nominated, and we'll go at it that way. And you can send me a DM on Instagram or any of the other places. Basically there's all kinds of ways you can reach out to me. I guess this is a good time to mention the socials. I'm on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm on Facebook. We have the Parishioners group. You can get in on that. And that's where there'll be a pinned post, taking nominations. I am on Twitter/X. And I'm also on YouTube and Rumble. You can leave comments on there as well with your nominees. But basically, I don't really have any rules for Cigar of the Year. The only thing that I would say is, consider the cigars that came out this year when you're thinking about it. Don't just list off your exclusive favorite, consider, do a little thought and consideration of like, okay, this is something new. This is something that came out this year. But also, look, there are some cigars that just smoke better. And maybe this year, one cigar that you like smoked better than previous years and you want to highlight that cigar. Nothing wrong with that. Basically, what'll happen is I will pull together all the nominations. And once the nominations are all assembled, I'll make a ballot. It'll be a Google Doc. I'll put the link out there for everybody to find and use. And basically, you can go into the Google Doc and you can cast your ballot. And, I'll announce when the voting begins. And then I'll announce, when the voting's going to end. And we'll count it all up. And you guys will decide what the 2025 Cigar of the Year is. I have no influence on this. So I'm not going to put in any cigars into contention. All of the cigars that will be on the ballot will be ones selected by you. And I will not be voting in this. So, all of the ballots cast will be from you. It's a completely listener-driven Cigar of the Year situation. So, is it the most scientific thing in the world? No, it's not. But we've had some really good cigars come up in this thing in the past. We've had the West Tampa Black and the West Tampa Red. We've had the Perdomo 30th Sun-Grown. I think that would be all of them. 24, 28, 22. Yeah, I think, is that all of them? Am I forgetting one? I don't know. I know those. I'm going off the top of my head. I know those. So, we've had some really, really good ones that have been put forth. But, once the balloting is concluded, I'll do the big rollout and we'll announce, who the top cigars are that you guys chose. So I'm looking forward to this. So anyway, I guess go ahead and start making your nominations, putting that out there in the world. I'll make a post on Facebook, kind of making the official post on Facebook saying, put your comments here. For those of you who aren't on the socials, again, you can just email me, nick@cigarpulpit.com. Send me your suggestions for the ballot, and I will make sure that they get put on the ballot. And we'll go from there. And then once the list is I'll leave that open for maybe, I don't know. I think I did it in the past for like 2 weeks. To be completely honest, I'll probably do it for maybe a week and a half, something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll all depend on timing for getting the ballot completed. Because I got to basically remind myself how to work Google Docs, because I did it last year and I haven't messed with it since then. So I'll have to, figure out how to work that again. But yeah, we'll make it work and we'll go from there. So anyway, all right. So I've done the socials. I mentioned the Cigar of the Year thing. Call the hotline, area code 863-874-0000. Call in with your comments, questions, concerns. I use those for the Ask the Pulpit episode. And, it's always a really nice way for me to have somebody to talk to. And again, call in with your dating profiles of your favorite cigars. Put a little thought, think about your favorite cigar, and come up with an enticing dating profile for your favorite cigar. And it doesn't have to be a female profile, by the way. Like the ones that ChatGPT gave me, it seemed like they were written, as if the cigar was a female. But, there are some cigars that I would have a tough time writing a dating profile if it were female, but I think as a male, it would be very easy. Like Brickhouse. Brickhouse is 100% a male cigar. That is Brickhouse. I mean, well, I guess it could be a female cigar too, but It'd be built like a shit brick house, but or brick shit house, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's one that I feel like would lean towards more of a male profile. So, just think about it a little bit and, call in with your favorite cigar dating profiles. I think that could be funny. See what entices everybody. Otherwise, guys, I've been really enjoying this Fuerte Y Libre Avalanche. I'm about, say, little right around halfway, and it is a very smooth, very easy to smoke Connecticut. It does have a little bit of spice to it, just a smidge, or not really power, I should say. A little bit of oomph, just a little bit. So I could see where they're saying that it's like a mild plus. It's definitely a more mild cigar, way more mild than Sun Country. I love the Sun Country. This one is not as, in my opinion, the Sun Country is better, but this one is still very, very good. It's smoking really well. The construction on it has been great. I mean, the burn line, I have just that little hint of wave there, and that's because the heater I've got over here has a fan on the top of it, so it's blowing the air around, and it's hitting right at where my cigar's at. So it is getting a little air, kind of hitting it. But all in all, this cigar smokes wonderfully. Again, Greg at Fortaleza y Libre, he makes really, really good cigars, and when I saw him at PCA, he was excited because he got his 100th account. So, he's a small company. He's one guy out there, just working it. I think he's got a broker maybe that's helping him, or a buddy or something like that. But really, it's a super small team. He's making it work one shop at a time. And so if you're fortunate enough to live near a shop that carries his cigars, I hope you've tried them. If you haven't had any yet, look into finding them. They're worth your time. Again, that Sun Country is without a doubt one of my top favorite Connecticut's. It's worth giving a shot to. So anyway, well, coming up on the show, I have, what do I have coming up on the show? I got all kinds of shit. I've been building out the calendar, trying to, kind of plot out the year. I will say that, got a couple of them that are open. My Christmas episode, so the one that's going to hit on Tuesday, December 23rd, that we're going to have Ed Sullivan of the Cigar Authority coming on, and we're going to do Festivus again. We did Festivus last year, and so we're going to do Festivus again this year, and we're going to, have our airing of grievances and, that sort of thing. So we've got that coming up. And then following that, on Boxing Day, Noah will be joining me, where we will be doing our annual death report, where we will be going over all of the people who died this year, all of the famous people who died this year, and we will be comparing that to our predictions that we made at the beginning of the year of who we think was going to die this year. We're going to see how many we got right, how many, survived another year, and we will be casting our predictions for who we think will die in 2026. So, a little morbid, but it's all in good fun, except for the people who die. I guess that kind of sucks for them. But anyway, and then following that, we will have the New Year's episode on December 30th. That will be where I will go over my personal top cigars of 2025. I don't really rank them. I just kind of give a little shout out to, the cigars that I smoked and enjoyed over the course of the year. And, you get to hear my own personal top cigars of 2025. And then kicking off 2026 on January 2nd, that's when it will be 2025 by the numbers. And that's where I will go over my entire list of every cigar that I smoked in 2025. And I will break it down. I will tell you by brand, what brand I smoked the most, percentage of this, how many Toros versus Robustos, and this and that and whatever. We really break down the numbers, and we break down my personal smoking for the year on January 2nd. So, that's just a little tease of what's coming up. So anyway, well, guys, I could stretch this out more, but I'm not going to, and you don't want me to. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate it. Maybe consider throwing a 5-star review up on whatever app you might be listening to this on. They help the show get found and in more ear holes, and I think we need to be in more ear holes. So anyway, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Stay safe. Stay smoky. Got to get in those ear holes.